There he is.
Cool. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. We've got good signal, got good picture. We're good to go.
Nice. All right. There we go.
Okay. Cool. So I'll start here and then I'll bring you in and we'll get started. So
Cool.
Let's make sure you're hearing me good. You're seeing me good. Everything's good. No breaking up. Okay. Awesome. All right, guys, we got a couple people on board already, but this will stay on the page for a long time. So if you don't catch it live, you'll catch it on the replay here. This is our weekly live series with the people in the I81 Real Estate Investor Group that are doing some cool things in real estate. So I thought it would be a cool thing to showcase some of the people and what they're doing and have interviews with them. So this is our second one. And our guest is James Thompson, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself and kind of tell everybody what you're up to. Okay.
Yeah. So we're really a pair. So it's me and my wife Sophia make up our business, which is Golden Real Estate. And I guess a little bit of backstory. I guess we started our business just over a year ago, and immediately started flipping houses. And I would say I've had a pretty good amount of success in our first year. We've done flips, wholesales. We're wrapping up a BRRRR. Got a couple more under contract, and definitely just went straight into it as fast as we could. So before that, we house hacked a Lex. So we've kind of been around real estate for a couple years, but really, I'd say about 13 months ago, decided that we're not messing around.
So, so you kicked it around for a couple of years, and then 13 months ago, you decided to get busy.
Yeah.
What was the change? What happened? I mean, was it like a slow learning period, or was it just like this is time to get going, or what happened?
So her and I have always been pretty entrepreneurial minded. So we actually met. We actually met in Amway years ago, which I had joined when I was 20. I'm 26 now. She's 25. And when she was wrapping up college, and that's kind of what we were doing. And over the last couple of years, like I've kind of messed around with a couple different businesses, and just none of them really kind of panned out. None of them really felt right. And then for her, she went to school to be a financial advisor, and she was actually working for a local company after she graduated and was going to be an advisor. Realized that she just hated it. So we kind of knew that we wanted to do real estate because we just kind of saw that as like the for sure way to reach our financial goals. And it was kind of an age thing that we didn't get started soon. But then her and I just really realized that like she really did not like what she was doing. She was really unhappy with it. And then I knew that I was doing life insurance right before this, which I did for a year. And it just always felt like a drag. But real estate was really the only thing that we always talked about. We've read all the Bigger Pockets books and watch all the YouTube videos, follow all the same people that everyone follows. And 13, really the way it really happened, we actually, a guy that the two of us know has been flipping houses for a couple years, and he offered to coach us. So we paid him some money, and we were like, but the plan was like, we're quitting our jobs like really fast. We're not messing around. And so right out the gate, it was a business. It was not, we didn't go flip one house and wait to see how it went. It was, we're either going to make it work or we're not. So
I think a lot of people discount coaching and the value that's in coaching. I mean, you look at, this is pretty simplistic, but you look at all the great performers out there, athletes. If you watch the Michael Jordan story, I can't remember the last season, he obviously had a coach right on the court, but he also had a personal coach. Right. And the guy just pushed him hard. He's had a couple of books written about that. But I bet you look at anybody that's really had explosive growth or has really pushed it, they've had some some kind of coaching or outside influence, or maybe like a, you know, a great mentor or something like that. So there's tons of value in coaching. I totally believe that.
Yeah.
Where do you guys live? Where do you guys operate? Where do you do deals?
We live in Martinsburg. We're right off 81, and we've done the farthest south deal we've done was in Front Royal, and we don't really go in Maryland that much. We wholesale the property in Frederick. We're really not super interested in Hagerstown, but Berkeley County, Winchester, Jefferson County is pretty much where we're at. So there's probably a lot of overlap there for you. Just to add to that real quick, we hired a coach when we first started.
Yeah, I know. The reason I asked that.
Sorry, you broke up there for a second.
It's breaking up just a little bit. It's breaking up a little bit, James. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully everybody else can hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a little choppy. It's a little choppy, yeah. Yeah, you said you were talking about coaching.
Taking it off Wi-Fi. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, it's still a little choppy.
Okay, gotcha. Well, hopefully you can hear me enough.
We'll get through it. We'll be good.
All right, cool. All I was going to add about coaching is we didn't just hire somebody to get us started. I mean, we them for maybe a couple months, but we just actually paid for Pace Morby's course like 2 months ago. That's like almost $8,000. So even now we've already made money this year, but we're still trying to grow. We're still trying to learn. So, you know, at some point you kind of need to take from free learning. Because it's honestly, spending the money kind of helps hold you accountable. So yeah, I would definitely recommend for people to not, you know, if this is something you want to take seriously and something you want to make a career out of and really have a business with, there's so many different people that you can get info from.
That's a great point. Yeah.
It's harder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And it's never, you're never in it too long. I'm sure you guys go to masterminds. You know, there's all different kinds of stuff you can do to get around people that are winning in the industry and not relying on just. Hopefully you caught most of that.
You know, you can read all the books and have tons of conversations, but in the end there's going to be little things that hold you up. Like when you're flipping, there are so many things that need to be taken care of or that can go wrong, or little processes that having somebody that's already experienced that and knows how to help you with those little bumps in the road, it's just the way to do it. It's the way to do it. And obviously you got to interview and you got to get the right people. But somebody with a long track record of success in a certain area, that's pretty safe. Right. So the reason I asked you where you were from, I thought you were in Martinsburg, but I know you talked about doing some deals in Virginia. So that's kind of what, because I thought maybe you were a little bit further south.
Yeah, we
so
have started
when you introduced yourself, you talked about some of the stuff you did. And then when we talked quickly, you said you kind of consider yourself more of a flipper.
Yep. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear me?
Yep, you just kind of paused, so I wasn't sure if you were. I think there's definitely a little bit of a lag. So yeah, you were asking me about
I can hear you now, but it's a little choppy. So I just Greg just said, yeah. Crazy. All right, well, we'll keep pushing through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said you had talked about you would consider yourself a flipper, but you were doing some other stuff, and it sounds like you're trying to learn sub 2 now. But some of the deals you've done in the last 13 months, what do they look like?
Do you mean some of the different types, or do you want me to walk through a deal that we've done?
Yeah. I mean, you know, are you primarily flipping, or is it more of buy and holds now, or?
Yeah. So okay. So in the first 12 months, we did 10 properties. 6 of them were flips, 3 were wholesales, and 1 is a 3-unit spur. Some of those are still kind of being wrapped up. Actually, our second property, they're probably signing right now. So that the 5th flip that we did is literally like we're selling that now. Under contract to sell. But then like I mentioned with you, we've got another complex and a townhome we've got under contract with some seller financing attached to it. So the initial thought was really, we knew we were kind of at the top of the market when we really decided to make a move. We it wasn't going to go like that forever. So the thought process was basically, let's stack as much cash as we can by flipping houses. We'll do some wholesales, and as opportunities come up, we'll hold stuff. And that way, whenever there is a market change, like right now, it's always a good time to flip and wholesale. There's always opportunity, but it's not quite as easy as it would have been a year ago. So
That's right.
Our plan to ride that up to the peak, and really just to make sure that we had enough margin on all of those deals, that if we got caught after it kind of fell off a little bit, that we wouldn't lose any of this money that we've stacked up. So, and I think honestly, we did that probably about perfectly as we could have. So
good. Yeah. You caught the last year of it, right?
Yeah, and actually the house we're selling today and the one we're selling next month, we really bought, like, based on the numbers you shared at the last meetup, we bought those peak for Berkeley County in like April, May, and they were above the median. We were expecting to make 60,000 on each of them. One of them we're making almost nothing on. The other one we're making still. So this is part of why you need to make sure you've got some margin on these deals. And we just kind of knew that, like, even in April, May, we could kind of feel that things were going to change. But we still are going to flip. We're going to flip less, and we're going to flip exclusively below the median. We're going to try and wholesale more, and we're going to continue to buy rentals. And, you know, like I said, we bought Pace Morby's course, so we're definitely going to make big effort into creative stuff, which is how we're buying these 3 more units that we've got under contract.
I think there's huge opportunity in that. There's huge opportunity if you can get the sub-2 deals, just because we know that a lot of those loans that were written in the last 5 to 10 years are going to be lower than the rates are right now.
Yeah.
And we've already done a handful of those deals and resold them at higher rates. So it's I guess it depends on what you do. You can take it sub-2 and you can flip it. You can take it sub-2 and you can wholesale it. You can take it sub-2 and hold it. You can do a bunch of stuff. You can sell it to somebody, or you can turn it into a rental. You can do whatever you want. There's so much opportunity there. Getting it sub-2 is the challenge, and it's a great strategy. So, and a lot of people don't know about it. So
yeah, it's a little confusing.
Yeah, it's prime because it's a prime strategy because there's so many low interest loans out there.
Yeah.
And people are going to continue to live their lives, and we know how, some people have their stuff together, but a lot of people don't, and they're always running into problems. So problems will always exist, and that's us. That's what we do as real estate investors. We kind of solve those problems, and luckily there's a lot of times there's a house in there that we can save some people and turn around and add it to our portfolio and help that seller out. So yeah, I think you're on the right track with the sub-2s. I totally agree with the flipping. I think we've kind of come to the end of that. On our last conversation, I talked to Josh, and we talked a little bit about the numbers, and how we've been in a rising market for so long that you could make mistakes, and the market would just drag you up. Now you're going to have to be very careful going forward, because what we thought, we look back and we see the comps. Well, is that really what it's worth now? Probably not, because we're starting to see discounts, and we're starting to see inventory come back. So sellers are going to have their choices, and they're going to be able to get, inspections have already come back, and they're going to start to get seller assistance and that kind of stuff. And with the market softening up, you're probably going to sit on that property a lot longer, and you're probably going to be pushed to drop the price at some point if you don't have that kind of activity. So yeah. I agree with that. In that 13-month span, how many deals did you do, around about?
We did 10. Yep.
Yeah, so that's busy. That's pretty busy.
Yeah.
When you're still learning.
Yeah, we actually, just to kind of add to us not messing around, we actually bought our first 4 before we sold the first one. We had 4. Wow. And actually, because the whole goal was like, we're quitting our jobs. Like, screw what we were doing before.
Yeah. We're not looking back, right? We're going forward, burning the boats.
So, and Sophia actually, because I was doing life insurance, there's a little bit on the commission schedule. There's a little bit of residual that goes along with it. So I was able to basically stop doing that pretty quickly, because I was had a little bit of residual built up. Sophia actually quit her job before we sold the first property as well. So we had 4 when she quit, and one of them was under contract. And we knew what we were going to make on some of these properties too. So it wasn't like wasn't guessing, but you
had some potential revenue or income that you could look towards, where other people kind of just quit and then try to figure it out. That's I like your approach a little bit better.
But it sounds all cool and sexy that we did that now. Like, oh wow, you guys are big risk takers. You must be really confident. But like, honestly, at the time, it was really uncomfortable. Like, it all sounds great now, but in December, January, we had a whole bunch of, we had a couple properties we had already bought. We were already renovating, and we're just spending money to, get these things rolling. Yeah. And we're just risk. And, at home, like Sophie and I, like, it was really uncomfortable. I was like, oh man, if this doesn't work, we're going to be 5 times, so. Yeah.
I think though that once you're in that position, and if what you're all about, you're just not going to let it. You're going to figure out a way, right? Yeah. Like you wouldn't have got rid of your jobs. Like, sure, they're comfortable and there's some security there, but that's not where you want to be, right? You're looking for something bigger, and in your heart that you can make it work. And you already had enough under contract to know that we can get these done, but now we're going to be pushed to keep that pipeline full and do deals. Yeah. Yeah. How did you fund how did you fund everything, or how do you fund those, or has it changed? How do you get those things closed?
At the beginning, it was just cash and credit with hard money. We were fortunate to have a little bit of money saved up, so we just went. We went all in. It was what we used. So like those first 4 flips, we just basically figured like, what's everything, and we were able to basically do that with everything. So now a couple of the first ones were pretty small. Like one of those 4 we got for $60,000 to $25,000 in reno. That was probably our biggest home run property. We made crazy amount of money on that one, but it was just all cash and credit. Now we still just use hard money and cash. So we use a normal draw schedule. We don't do a ton of draws now. Like we just kind of do, we do them, maybe once a month or something. Like we're not, every time something complete, we're not going and getting the draw for it right away. Because now we've got enough cash where. Yeah, you got a little cushion to make it work. So you were doing hard money loans with, like if you negotiated a great deal, then you had a hard money lender that would do 70 or 65% ARV plus the rehab, and you could almost get as much as you needed, right? And then they would give you the draws. Yeah. That's a pretty quick way to move.
if you got some cash and if you're negotiating really good deals.
Yeah.
That's and then you can do multiple at a time rather than we interviewed one guy at the Meetup group where he just uses only his own cash. So he can not spend any interest, right? But he's kind of confined to how much cash he has. So you really can't grow it out very quickly. So, but you can make more money, I guess. But
I mean, you make more money on that one deal, but if you think about it, let's say you got 200 grand, you can flip maybe one house, right? You're going to do.
That's right.
But with 200 and hard money, you could do 5 houses.
That's right. You have to pass up opportunities, and a lot of times in this business, we don't know when opportunities are going to show up.
Yeah.
So we have to be ready.
You have to be ready.
Yeah.
Every deal we got, they all were just out of. It's weird. They all came. A lot of them came in clusters. Like we'd go get 2 or 3 under contract, and then it would be like, and before we got another one because we were good at getting them steady. And we still have a little bit of a hard time with that too. But whenever we got one, it wasn't like months in the making. It was
it's like sign now, right? Like we got to move on this. Yeah. How? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was done. Yep.
I was just gonna say, how do you find your deals?
So we right out of the gate, part of the coach that we hired, they helped us put together like a cold call team.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
Right out of the gate.
Virtual assistants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's still what we do. We actually, about a month ago, we actually let go all of our callers because we were using these service providers. I mean, there's tons of them out there that hire the service company and they give you a designated caller. So they're your caller, but they really work for the service company. So what we've been working on the last 30 days, and hopefully we'll have be ready soon, is I'm actually completely redoing our CRM, and we are going to hire cold callers in-house, and which is going to bring our cost per caller way down. And we're basically going to build like a real in-house team, and stop relying on these outsourced services.
It's kind of good and bad. Obviously, if you find the right organization and they have the right people, and then they're following up and they're training and they're making sure that they're there, then that's a lot of stuff that you don't have to do. And a lot of people will pay a premium for that because there's value in that. But if you don't get all of that, then it's probably what you're feeling like, hell, I can do this. And if you have the time to manage them and bring them along and stay on top of them, and you can really save on the cost of that labor. Yeah,
because we basically what my intention is over the next 6 months is to put together a team of 5, a little pod of 5, 3 cold callers, a transactional coordinator, and a manager, and I'm going to put together a little pod. But if you can hire all of that through these service companies, but you're going to be paying like $1,100 to $1,500 a head. Where we can hire them in-house for $4 an hour instead of, I guess, like $7 or $8 an hour. Now, when you're getting started, like we would not have done that out of the gate. And really the only reason we actually stopped 30 days ago is because we were actually unhappy with the company we were using. Gone through a couple of them. We tried out a few, and so we just felt like it wasn't worth keeping them, and it also wasn't worth hiring a new company to fill the gap. We figured, we'll just free up some time. But then also just like we've worked with wholesalers too. We've gotten 2 deals from wholesalers, and actually the seller finance deal, the duplex and the townhome got was a connection from a wholesaler because the guy wanted too much money. We're paying full price for these houses, duplex and the townhome, but the seller's financing in second position, 20% on one and 25% on the other, 0% interest, 7-year term, 0% interest. So
that's pretty sweat.
I'll pay full price for that.
We
might a little bit over full price. We might be paying 5 or 10 grand, a little heavy on it, like maybe, but there's cash flow, and we're going to take closing costs, and we're going to take control of 2 buildings. So
those are, you said they're townhomes?
one of them's a townhome and one of them's a duplex.
And what are you gonna do with them?
Honestly, they're both okay, so the duplex is older. It's in Martinsburg. It's on Faulkner Avenue, but the building's in great shape. It's got all of them have HUD rentals right now.
Okay.
I think we're going to keep that in the duplex.
Yeah, that's probably the best strategy for that.
Yeah, and then and I don't think we're going to really do any renovations to the duplex. It's really like in perfect working order. I mean, it's not like super updated, but it's perfectly fine. The townhome is only I think that was built in the mid 90s, so it's a little dated in some places, but overall it's pretty good. The only thing it really needs is we've got to fix the AC unit and the master bath. There's the tub is having some leaks, so I think we're just going to gut the master. We're going to keep it in there.
Yeah. We do like the I guess the younger stuff or whatever you want to call it. There's so much old stuff in the city, and we've had our share of fun with that kind of stuff. But anytime we find something, that's built in the 2000s or the late 90s, that's something that you're going to probably find a little bit better clientele for, and the rents are going to be a little bit higher. And if it always is going to come down to the numbers making sense, but if the numbers make sense, then it's probably good to hold it. It's in the beginning, we did the same thing. We wholesaled and we flipped to put cash in our pockets. And the idea was to build long-term wealth. So you're not going to get rich with a handful of rentals. You're going to get some nice tax write-offs, and you're going to make a little bit of money here and there. But if you scale that, then that really is the way to go. So doing some flips here and there, doing some wholesales here and there. Our strategy was always kind of let's hold the ones where we can maximize the cash flow. So pretty much the multis or the super nicer properties. And then if it was something that we got really deep, or it was going to be a nice product that would be in the average price point that would sell quickly, and it's not a massive rehab, let's flip it. And then anything that fell outside of all of that, we would pretty much just wholesale it.
Yeah.
So that was our running strategy for 5 years now, and we've kind of transitioned more into hard money lending storage recently, but we'll still look at those opportunities. So it sounds like your strategy is very similar to that. You want to start building some long-term passive income, but you're still looking. It depends on what comes across your desk. You'll look at it and figure it out and go from there.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is you'll hear people give advice like get really good at one thing and just double down on that. But honestly, whenever I underwrite a property, what's the best thing to do with it? And if that means we'll do that. And all the ones we wholesaled are kind of like you. They were heavier lifting, so we didn't do them. But also, just to make note, like with wholesaling, we never really made a big push on it because I don't like the idea of getting something under contract that I'm not willing to buy. So we wholesaled 3 properties. We bought them and put them under contract for us to buy them. And then we underwrote them to make a ton of money on them. And I said, okay, well, if we can wholesale it and if we can make at least 50% of what we were going to be flipping it, then let's wholesale it. And that's what we did. So, but if we didn't wholesale them, we would have bought them and flipped them.
Yeah. If you're not going to underwrite them for you to buy them, then the wholesale is probably not going to work on the back end, right? Because experienced people, for the most part, are going to look at the numbers and make that decision. We're all looking at the same comps. We're all, for the most part, kind of the rehab costs will be in line. Some people will do it themselves, right? Some people will spend more, and it also depends on the exit strategy. But totally agree with that. Don't sign up for something that the numbers don't make sense for. Now,
Right.
have we wholesaled things that that we had no intention of buying? Yes, but we knew we could wholesale it, so
Right. Right.
but have we bought things that we put under contract and tried to wholesale and wholesale didn't work? Yes. Yeah, because in the end, you gotta keep your reputation strong if you're
Yeah,
going
there's
to
a
be
lot
doing this kind of deals.
like a family on the other end is expecting to get paid, right? For whatever reason, like whether there's financial distress. You're going to hear my dog bark here in a minute. Cat outside. There's financial distress. Like the house is a burden in some way in these cases. So if you just,
Yeah.
a lot of wholesalers that sell courses and stuff that'll say, "Oh, just get it under contract and figure it out later."
Yeah.
And I just don't, backing out of a contract should be like last resort, right?
It stinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it does happen every once in a while, but I think if you stay in communication with the seller, I've known where people just walk away. I've heard stories like that, and I don't think that's right. If there's a problem, funding problem, or the rehab is now more than you expected, it needs to be explained to them.
Yeah.
And
we had
it's a reputation thing.
Get them to come down $30,000 because there was it was actually the one in Frederick. There was a major septic issue. It was an older home, and I guess it was never like recorded with the county that the septic even existed and where it was located. We basically were told it was going to cost like $30 to $40 to replace the septic, and so we explained that to them, like, look, because of I guess something to do with the ground level and whatever the health department is and these quotes we're getting, they were ridiculous. So we had to get them to come down, or we would have had to walk. It would have been way too big of a percent.
I think we're on the same page with that. I think that's just good business sense, or just a good way to operate.
Yeah.
So you've had some amazing growth over the last year, 13 months. How has your approach to business changed with you doing these different deals? Like what new realizations have you come to, and how has it changed how you operate based on when you got started? Because I know, and that could be a tough question, but I know that when Mike and I started our business, we've changed many times based on things that we've learned and come to realize. So have you had any realizations of that so far?
Honestly, because we hired that coach at the beginning, they walked us through our first two deals. So we actually paid them cash up front, and we gave them 30% of our first two deals. They made us on those first two deals with us, but I actually don't feel like we made a lot of mistakes, but that at the like obviously things you kind of adapt as you progress. So like early on, we used like full service contract. We never did any of the work ourselves. So at the beginning, we used like full service contractors because we like didn't know anything about construction. And so our expenses were probably way higher than they should be. Well, now we the market was hot. We basically buy anything that that we knew we could flip, and whatever the ARV was, it didn't matter. Making adjustments on what the ARV, like I said, needs to be below the median going forward. But like even at the beginning, like we would not buy a property unless we thought we could make 30 grand. And right with that. So we always built in margin. We put a good team around us. Like we were lucky we had contractors trusted that got us in right away. And we built a marketing team with these coaches like right out of the gate. So I guess to answer your question, as far as what kind of advice somebody listening to this could take from this, is just another reason to hire a coach.
Yeah. I think you're right there, because it sounds like they kind of had a roadmap for you, right? And you kind of told them, this is where we want to go. And they're like, well, here's the roadmap. Let's go down this road. And coach me up along the way. So
Yeah.
I love that. Too many people try to do it cheaply and try to figure it out along their way. And I know there's like a bunch of memes for that. It's like the entrepreneurial journey. And, everybody thinks it's going to be like this, and it's like,
Yeah.
one day I'm hating life, the next day I'm loving life. But you can straighten out that curve with the right mentorship.
And for us, we had done things in the past. So like like with business and entrepreneurship, like that's basically, I knew when I was in high school that I was not going to work for somebody else. I would,
Yeah.
bring bracelets and stuff to school and like sell it to my teachers. I was like, how can I,
Yeah.
that was
A good sign of an entrepreneur,
yeah.
future entrepreneur.
So it's not that stuff didn't happen. It just didn't happen at the beginning of this business because we had kind of learned some of that really basic stuff in the past. And then we hired a coach to make sure that we didn't make really specific, like industry specific mistakes.
Yeah. Well, that's a good answer. So I think we're running a little bit long here. I wanted to ask you a couple questions as we head out. How has the I81 Real Estate Investor Meetup group helped?
Yeah. So we go to the I81 group. We also go to the Frederick meetup probably like every month. And you guys have just been like, you always have great speakers come in. Even more than the meetup, really the Facebook group is just, there's so much value in the Facebook group because there's some really big like national Facebook groups for real estate. There are way too many people. I mean, there's tens of thousands of people in some of these, big groups and stuff. And, just, you can actually get things answered fast on the Facebook page. Like if you, like, for example, you need a referral for somebody or for a trade or like super fast. I'm pretty sure the second wholesale we did, I'm pretty sure that the buyer for that found us through the group. So
that's cool. That's good to hear. That's really cool to hear.
We still know buyers lined up for wholesale deals. We literally, when we get a deal we want to wholesale, I post in the I81 group and I post in the Frederick group and I post on one statewide. But I'm pretty sure that the second one came from the I81 group.
You're probably covering all the investors on those groups, which is cool. Yeah. That's good to hear.
Business. Anyone who's in the business is in the I81. And if I don't know if are they even really doing much, or maybe they're just like so big. They're on, such a big commercial.
I guess it's just a matter of engagement, how much engagement you do with social media. But the people that do engage, they do get their questions answered for the most part. And I definitely know tons of deals are getting sold there because I say we probably sold, when we were heavily into it, 85% of our deals right there before we even had to email it out.
Yeah.
So so it's been good for us too. What can this group do to help you out, you guys, in your investing journey?
I would say what I could do to help some people and what they could do to help us is, if you're a wholesaler, if you have deals that maybe you can't figure out how to make them work because there's not enough equity in them, they don't work for sale. This is what we did for that duplex townhome. We just had a wholesaler. He just gave me the number. I talked to the guy. He, actually still need to send him some money, but which I oh no, I forgot I haven't done that now that I'm talking about it. We're going to give him a kickback, and he would have never gotten that. He wouldn't have been able to do anything with those. So if you're someone who's got a seller that's like, they're motivated, but their price is just like not right, we can come in and give them a creative offer, whether it's to seller finance, an agreement. There's all different kinds of stuff we can do, and depending on the situation, we'll make sure you get paid fairly and make it a win-win on the, not the straight up cash distressed stuff. So I know you guys can do that too. So either hit up Mike or
I mean, that's cool though. I mean, you built that skill up, so people should reach out to you, and you should be rewarded for your hard work.
Yeah.
You've taken some lumps along the way, and I mean, you got a good system, it sounds like. So I appreciate your time, James. I think we've covered a bunch of ground here, and look forward to seeing you at the next meetup. Our meetup is every month, the third Thursday of every month. Next month we have Bob Allwine coming to speak. He's a flipper out of Frederick County, and one of our friends. He systemized his business and does a ton of business. So if you like this, give us a thumbs up and share it if you like. And I think that's it. Appreciate your time, James. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for having me
Okay.
on. Appreciate it.